Welcome to the Fantasy Throwdown Podcast, bringing you the latest updates from the world of sports, gambling, and pop culture. Because you can't have a show without hot takes or a Tiger King meme these days. Know what I'm saying? Now, with over 200 episodes and ready to get after it again, here's your host, Dwayne Callender.
Okay, folks, it is late Thursday night. The Chiefs just beat the Chargers in OT in one of the dumbest games of the year. The Chargers blew this game so many different ways with just dumb coaching by Brandon Staley. We talked about this before, that I don't trust the Chargers coaching staff. But this was so inexcusably bad management. Just multiple fourth down tries for no good reason. Doesn't make any sense why you're not taking points. None of it made a lick of sense, and it's so beyond idiotic how the Chargers managed to blow this game. And by blow this game, I mean between the defensive play calling, the offensive play calling, just overall just dumb nonsense. So looping in my pops, because he's still awake watching this one. Like, this is just beyond stupid. I can't believe this game went down in this fashion. It's just so ridiculously dumb. So let's without further ado just have the call, because we just got to talk through this one. This is a joke. Yeah, Callie. Yeah, so let's just get right to the long and short of it. How do we want to characterize how stupid this Chargers game plan was?
You have something against analytics?
That wasn't analytics. That was literally you just being stubborn as a coach and running so many rudimentary play calls that don't make sense, and you're just throwing away opportunities. Because you tell me how those plays were high percentage plays that you're trying to execute on fourth down. Those aren't high percentage plays you're running.
I don't understand it. I'm telling you, I've given up. They're not going to make me pull my hair out anymore, because it's. I have no, like they have gone crazy. They have gone crazy with this analytics nonsense. With it's have more chance to go for it on fourth, and if you're taking short points off the board. When, like you said, it's not in your favor. It's So I don't know, yeah. Because I even had a problem with Kansas City late in the third quarter with that fourth down play. Because here's what I don't understand. Even if you're going for it on fourth down, I hate a fourth down play in the shotgun, because you can't even try a sneak, because the quarterback is so fast, so the sneak is out. So that's one less thing the defenders have to look for. So I'm telling you, I'm fed up with these teams with the analytics. Yeah. I don't know. Because San Diego left so many points on the board that I don't understand how they can't say. And you know what's the problem with it too? Once they do it once, they just kind of be like, well, we have to do it now, because we could have get 3 points there, so we down 3. So we had to go for it the second time. It's like a junkie. Where you think that this fix to be the real one?
I'm beside myself, because I literally said this heading into this matchup. The Chargers should win this game. I honestly believe, the way it was matched up, the Chargers are healthy. Chiefs are still kind of banged up. I thought if the matchup was well in favor of the Chargers tonight, to actually get the win at home. And if you watch that game throughout, yes, it was tight because the Chargers made it tight by not taking the points. to me, like, the Chiefs were just trying to hang around in that one because the Chargers were constantly in position to land some potentially knockout blows. And, instead of just, jabbing them and just, take the points where you can, just jab, 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 the Chargers were just insisting on keep trying to throw a haymaker to knock out the Chiefs, and they kept whiffing. And eventually the Chiefs caught them with their own punch. But it's like, I don't understand. The Chargers had the makeup. They were running the ball. They were moving the clock eventually. They cannot get, like, they just could not get out of their own way with some of the play calling. There's no reason why you had to force the issue to the extent that they did. And to your point, yeah, when it started failing, they got into the mindset of, oh, well, we got to make it back now. It's like, we got to get it back at them. It's like, we can't just let this slide, because now it's going to be like, well, why did you go for it if you didn't go for it this time? And it's a vicious cycle when you miss it the first time, because and the one that angered me the most, and you'll probably know it too. Why on earth are you trying to go for it right before halftime? Why? What, like, why? Why are you trying to force it? Kick the point, take the lead into halftime. Why are you trying to, I don't understand how the Chargers thought that was a good idea. I don't understand it. It's 14-10. Make it 17-10. You have a touchdown lead at home. Why can't you take the 3? None of what they were trying to do made a lick of sense. At what point does not, like, why are you trying, like, again, this is where we get into, like, the thought process. You had already scored 2 touchdowns in the second quarter. Kick the field goal. You're up a touchdown at halftime, and you put yourself in a position that you're in a comfortable position at home. By leaving it at 4, you always put yourself at a position that, man, if the Chiefs get a touchdown, it's a tied ball game. Okay, the Chargers ended up getting a few more scores, but they were still within a 2-point conversion of tying the game because you left so many points on the board. Like, none of what the Chargers did made a lick of sense from a game management standpoint, because they never put themselves out well ahead of the Chiefs. They were always close because they kept shooting themselves in the foot.
Yeah, I'm telling you, you sit down and you say, why are you doing this? It just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense.
And we've seen this happen multiple times this year, because I said it before, I'll say it again. If it wasn't for Zach Taylor in Cincinnati, Brandon Staley would be the number 1 coach that I don't understand how isn't being scrutinized more for why this team doesn't have more wins. Because if you look at the Chargers record, and the fact that they are barely above 500 with the amount of talent they have, it's inexcusable how that team doesn't have more wins. And you look at it, it's the coaches screwing up multiple calls, and it's happened throughout the year. And honestly, the only reason why the Chargers have another win is because Cincinnati gave away a game that they made a comeback in, and then Zach Taylor still screwed it up. I look at these teams and they can't help themselves. It's why I can't take them seriously in the AFC, despite the fact that they're more talented. I'm looking at these teams point blank. You cannot tell me that the Chargers, top to bottom, from their offense to their defense, are a better team than the Chiefs right now. They are a better team than the Chiefs, even though the Chiefs have the better skill position players on offense. Overall, if you look at the depth of the teams, The Chargers are the better team.
Yeah. Yeah, when the Chargers beat the Raiders early in the season, I was saying, hey, I think them is the best team I see. And then they just went on a slide and lost like 4 games in a row. And playing some of the worst football you ever wanted to see. And they kind of righted the ship for a couple of games now, but then come tonight and they lost this game by, again, they just threw it away, I just don't understand it. I just don't understand it.
In terms of how stupid this actually gets, some people are going to say because they went for it on that one drive where they actually converted the 4th and short on the running play and then later scored a touchdown, they're going to say, oh, well, they didn't pass up 9 points. They didn't lose 9 points by going for it on 4th down so many times. They only lost 2 points because they scored a touchdown on the other drive where they actually went for it because it was a 4th and short, but yet still it would have been too long for a field goal, and that's why they went for it to run the ball. So in reality they only lost 2 points, Callie. I'm telling you that's exactly the nonsense they're going to throw out there. That the coaching did not cost them the game. They only lost 2 points. You know what the 2 points still would have done? It would have won them the game in regulation. That's what it would have done. And even then, if KC doesn't force the issue with that play, and again, you could say that KC's play should have worked if Mahomes throws the ball, fine. But I don't get KC going for it either. That attempt where KC tried to force the issue at the 2, at the point in the game where they were at, realistically, it's not exactly needed to force the issue, in my opinion. There, to me, it didn't really make a whole ton of sense forcing the issue to try to get that extra touchdown at that point in the game. But Andy Reid did it, and they eventually did get the touchdowns. But that play, should have worked. But again, I kind of question, why are you rushing it? So even the Chiefs had their own issues with, why are you forcing the issue? But yeah, there's going to be plenty of talk in the morning about Brandon Staley and his coaching calls, because someone is going to go on there and defend it and say he created opportunities for his team to score. And reality is going to say, no, he kept shooting his own team in the foot and put them under pressure to constantly have to make up for the points that they lost throughout the game, and they were constantly chasing their own tail.
That's the way I would look at it. That's the way I would look at it, because that's the look. Let me tell you something. It comes like, now I know Pittsburgh ended up doing it because the kicker was dumb. They didn't have the kicker, so they kind of didn't have a guy. They were passing up field goals and they were going for it because they didn't have a kicker. That's something different. That is something different. You have a kicker, a reliable kicker. Why are you doing this? You score a touchdown. All of a sudden, you're going for 2 points. You're the first team to score. I've seen this so many times this year. Team score first. They're going for 2. But all of a sudden, next thing you know, instead of 7-0, it's 6-0. And once you do that, like you say, you wind up chasing your tail all night long because you're down 1 point. Because if the other team goes down and score, it's 7-6. So right now you're behind the 8 ball because unless that kicker misses the extra point, you're always going to be 1 point down. Why? You know, I'm telling you, it's come like the 3-point shot. Guys who can't make a 20-footer think they can make a 35-footer for some reason. You know, it's crazy. Yeah. Something else.
Yeah, but you know, the Chargers have themselves to blame. They're 8-6 now, and now the Chiefs have in full control of locking up that division.
Yeah, I mean, the Chiefs still have some tough games to play, but you know,
I'll be honest, Callie. I'll be honest. The truth of the matter is, I don't think it's that hard. I don't think it's that hard. I mean, is Pittsburgh going to play him tough? Yeah, Pittsburgh will play him tough, but I think they should win that one. Is Kansas City going to be tough at Kansas City? I mean, at Cincinnati? Yeah, Cincinnati can play them tough because Cincinnati's a good team. But much like the Chargers, it's the same thing where you have an idiot coach. I don't think these coaches are very good at their jobs. I don't think they're good at it. And I think the Chargers are more talented than Cincinnati. So, to me, I don't think that game against Cincinnati is as hard as doing this win tonight in LA. I think the Chargers are a better team than Cincinnati. And Cincinnati is just as poorly coached as the Chargers, if not more so. So, to me, at the end of the day, you know, you get through the next 2 weeks and then you wrap up with at Denver. Yeah, at Mile High is always tricky, but you're a better team than Denver. Like, to me, I think the Chiefs should run the table here, and maybe they get they lock up the number 1 seed in the AFC. And you know, it should not have gone down. Like as I said, I think the Chargers are the better team. But now I think the Chargers have no shot of winning this division. No shot. It's like, is it possible someone gets injured on the Chiefs in the last 3 weeks of the year and they lose 2 out of 3? Possible. But that's not good enough for the Chargers. The Chargers the Chargers need the tie breaks to work out in their favor, which means they need their division record to be better than Kansas City. And the thing of it is that the Chargers need to actually beat the Raiders, and they need to beat the Broncos. Like, they got to win the division matchups against the Broncos and the Raiders to have the better in-division record against the Chiefs. Like, now the Chargers need a lot of help. They need help, and I don't know. I just look at it and I say, I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see it happening. Like, I don't see how the Chargers find a way of winning this division. I think the division's locked up for the Chiefs.
The thing that I laugh at is that the Chiefs were 4-0. I mean, the Chargers were 4-0.
Again.
Now they're 8-6. So in the time it took you to win 4 more games, you lost 6 games.
And most of it was due to the coach. Like, they are not. I'm sorry. Like, they are not well coached. They are simply not well coached. I will continue to keep saying this. Like, between the Chargers and Cincinnati, I love the talent on both squads, but I hate watching these two teams play because I see some moronic calls from the coaching staffs on both sides. It makes no sense.
Because when you think about it, yeah, early in the season, Mahomes wasn't playing good, and that defense was letting everybody through. Yeah, right. That's how the Chiefs started. But the Chargers didn't have that. They started off really, really good. But then they got manhandled in some games, and you're like, oh, I watched Baltimore beat up on them, and it's like, Baltimore's not a better team than you guys. How come this game is so one-sided? And you couldn't figure it out.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. But anyway, Kelly, we gotta wrap up. It's already late, so we'll catch up another time. But you have a good night.
Okay. Well, we got double-header Saturday and Sunday.
Oh yeah, we got Saturday football to talk about as well. So yeah, we'll be in touch.
Okay. All right then.
All right, take it easy.
Okay.
Yeah, so, I mean, that basically does it for the show tonight. It's a late recap, but, I mean, Patrick Mahomes, over 400 yards passing, just dominant game from Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill, but a lot of this came in the second half when the Chargers had, by all rights, needed to salt this game away, and the play calling was atrocious. It was like point blank, this play calling atrocious because there were better ways of milking this clock. You can look at the replay of this game. There are so many plays that the Chargers, you just scratch your head as to why are you leaving so much time available, and again, not taking the points when they were available. Like, none of it made any sense. So it is what it is. The Chiefs are pretty much have the AFC West wrapped up at this point. But we'll see how this eventually squares away, because this, like I said, I don't see any scenario now at this point, barring injury, how the Chiefs lose this division, and the Chargers only have themselves to blame. So that's all for now. In terms of the DFS build at one, it was a chalk night. Chalk Travis Kelce and the captain. He was cheap at 8,600. I didn't like the play because I didn't see him getting enough volume to get there in the Kelce spot, because I thought the Chargers were going to keep the bracket coverage on him and make sure they took Kelce out of the play. They did in parts of the game, but then they changed it up. Again, this was inexplicable coaching decisions throughout the game of trying to change into something that they're not as qualified to shift their coverage towards. Like, the constant shifting in coverages only made matters worse, in my opinion. But, it is what it is. So I'm getting out of here. Call it a day. Call it a night, really. So that's all for now, folks. Have a good one, and until next time.
Thanks for listening to the Fantasy Throwdown Podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and all other major outlets.